Hey, Daniel, great to have you on this podcast episode. Now, for those of you who don't know Daniel Tolson, our guest today, let me do a quick introduction. Daniel Tolson is the founder of the Tolson Institute, which helps executives and business owners to achieve peak performance. How he does that is by removing the underlying subconscious beliefs and emotions that were created from the past. And once those limiting beliefs and emotions are removed, they achieve massive breakthroughs in their income, in their relationships, in their businesses, and their careers. And you know what's the most amazing part? All this is done using AI technology and NLP programming. So instead of having to go to a therapist for years to resolve issues, most of these clients can get immediate results in as little as 10 minutes. All right, so that's what we're here to talk about with Daniel today, about this amazing new technology. So Daniel, I'm super excited about this new technology. But first, can you tell me what some of your clients have achieved with this technology? I'm so excited to hear about it.
G'day, mate. The results are phenomenal. One of our clients in Malaysia, she has received 3 promotions and 2 pay rises in the first 12 months of using this technology. We've got other clients here who have discovered self-limiting beliefs that have been holding them back for 20 years. And they've got rid of 20 years of self-limiting beliefs. They've launched their businesses, and within the first 90 days of business, they've been doing artwork for multi-million-dollar and multinational companies. I've got PhDs, I've got doctors using this technology, and they've felt stuck in their careers for 25 and 30 years. And once they understood what was holding them back and how they could utilize their strengths to move them forward, they've started to go out and acquire hundreds of millions of dollars of donations for their universities. So what they're being able to achieve in just a very short time is mind-blowing. One of my clients said the other day, she said, Daniel, my dream was to be an artist. And I've known I've had this dream for 20 years. And because of my own bullshit stories, I've put it off. I've told myself that I'm not good enough. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough support. I'm not good looking enough. And once she started to use this technology, she realized that they were just all bullshit stories. And it was certain parts of her personality that were holding her back, not her talent, not her skill, not her knowledge, but just those inner beliefs. And she's now creating artwork for multi-million-dollar and multinational businesses. Just one new idea at the right time just catapulted it forward.
Oh, that's pretty crazy. I mean, I never thought that my looks would affect my income, but hey, that's quite phenomenal. So, yeah, Daniel, how did you come across this process, and how did it help you on a personal level?
Mate, I'd been struggling for years. I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of frustrations, and I had a lot of negative self-talk. And it wasn't something that just happened automatically. It had been something that had been happening for years. And it was in the middle of the pandemic. It was like 2020, and I was reached out to by a doctor. And he said, Daniel, I know you're in the field of personal development. I know you're the best at what you do. Have you heard about this technology? And I said, what's the technology? And he mentioned this artificial intelligence technology that could measure emotional intelligence. Now, I've been working with people for years in the field of emotional intelligence, but I've never heard of artificial intelligence that could measure emotional intelligence. So he said, Daniel, if you use this technology, all you've got to do is do a 90-second voice recording. And this technology will analyze your brainwave frequencies. It'll predict your personality styles. It'll show me what are the frequent and core emotions that you're experiencing. And it'll show me all the significant emotional events that you've been through from now, I'm 42, all the way back to the time of birth. And I heard that and I go, come on, you got to be kidding. You got to be pulling my leg. I've been doing thousands of scientific reports on people on emotional intelligence, yet I've never heard this. And he said, look, just do a 90-second voice recording, send it through, and I'm going to give you a 14-page scientific report. And he brought this report back, and I've got it sitting there with me. And he brought it back, and he said, Daniel, these core emotions that you're experiencing are fear and anxiety. You've also got a lot of anger. And I'm like, well, I've felt like that, but nobody's ever, diagnosed or said to me that these are the emotions that are holding you back. And he also said one of your personality styles is the perfectionist. And we started to go back through this perfectionist personality style where there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of frustration, there's a lot of fear. And then I started to realize that I had a life pattern of self-harm. And I realized that I'd been harming myself, but it was out of my conscious awareness. And so it was in the middle of the pandemic that I had my biggest breakthrough, that I discovered one of my biggest mental blockages. And as he took me through the report, I could see this same problem repeating itself over and over and again. But what was fascinating was the root cause was happening in the first 7 years of my life, a period of my life that I wasn't even aware of. But the report brought it back into awareness, and I could start to correct these behaviors. And once I corrected that, my business started to grow, my results started to grow, but I also started to feel a lot of emotional stability for myself.
So it actually helped you to pinpoint the exact event that happened that caused this pattern?
Do you want to see it?
Yeah, sure. Please.
Well, I was...
It's just so hard to believe that it's like something like this actually exists.
Yeah, well, I've been in this field for a decade, and, I believe that we're all ignorant. And ignorant means we just don't know what we don't know. And I didn't realize this technology was out there. So what you can see here on the left-hand side was I did this voice analysis. So 90-second voice recording. The AI technology measures 1,440 emotional triggers. And this is just through your brain waves. Now, what I didn't know was that when you're speaking, your brain waves can actually be picked up in your voice. And through the microphone and the AI technology, it can analyze it. So the first thing here that I learned about myself was my core emotion was I was lacking self-confidence. Now, if you would have asked me if I was a confident person, I would have sworn black and blue that I was confident. I could have told you that I've been an Australian champion athlete. I've co-led a team of 17,500 people. I've been on television. I can speak on stage in front of thousands of people. And I would have told you that I was a confident person.
Yep.
But the technology said that I was actually lacking confidence in a lot of these key areas. And the second thing it says that I would be very hard on myself. Now, that was a big realization because I'm my own biggest critic. And then the report went on to let me know that my personality style was a perfectionist. Now, I would consider myself as a risk taker, but I would have never have seen myself as a perfectionist. And so it says that I'd be too hard on myself and eventually hard on others. And because these emotions haven't been attended to, I'd have angry outbursts. Now, being very prideful, I'd never tell people that I get angry. But it was like that this technology knew my inner secret. Right. And I get frustrated and I was getting angry and I was self-harming. So the doctor told me this and I was tight-lipped because I didn't really want to admit it. And then he said, Daniel, the technology also shows you your emotional life journey. And it's measured these angry outbursts and this lack of confidence, and it keeps repeating itself, both between ages of 0 through to ages 11.
Wow, it actually tells you your age when that happened?
Yeah. So the
Holy
technology
moly.
can measure these emotional frequencies that haven't been attended to from the time of birth all the way up to now. So these bars here each represent around about 3 to 4 years of my life. And it's where these core emotions keep getting triggered. And essentially what it says is where you can see these red ones here is these emotions are being triggered, but they're not being resolved. So essentially I was just repressing them.
And you weren't conscious that you were doing that?
Totally out of my awareness.
Wow.
And here I am as a coach and teaching others how to manage their emotions, but I was actually repressing mine. You know, I say to people, Terence, I say, you know, I could be the world's best brain surgeon. I could be Asia's best brain surgeon, but I can't operate on my own brain.
Yeah.
And so as a coach, I'm coaching others how to manage their emotions, but I was actually struggling with mine. And once I had that awareness, I quickly put the pieces of the puzzle together. So if I show you this period just here,
Yep.
these angry outbursts and this lack of confidence had started from around about age 31 all the way up to age 42. And as I went through with the doctor, we started to have a look at these key areas. Well, it was at age 31 that my fiance was involved in an accident on an aircraft. And for 2.5 years, she was in major reconstructive surgeries. So we were living on 1.5 incomes. I had applied for promotions to leadership and got rejected multiple times. Finally, when I did get accepted to leadership, she then lost her job. She lost her income stream. We almost lost our daughter to miscarriage 3 times.
Wow.
My wife had to move from Dubai back to Taiwan. And at age 32, I had to decide, do I move back to Taiwan for the birth of our daughter, or do I keep working? And I chose love. But when I chose love, I lost my career and I lost my income. And you can see that these emotions keep going up, up, up. The following year, I spent all of my savings trying to build my business. By the end of that year, I'm 33 and I'm on Social Security. 2014, I'm building this business, but the market collapsed and I lost all of my investment. I'm selling my personal belongings, my car, my wetsuit, and literally had 3 bags. My entire life history lived in 3 bags. And so at age 33, I lost everything again. And then as we came into the pandemic, I also was traveling around the world. So pre-pandemic, I was planning to start a new business in Australia, and I'd been gearing up to go there. And I was spending months of time away from my family. So all of these emotions, I wasn't managing at that stage. And then, of course, the pandemic came along and triggered it all off again. And so once I could see this anger and this lack of confidence here, it made sense of why I was so afraid to make more decisions. You know, what if I try? What if I fail? Can I really put in more money? What if I lose it all again? Do I want to start again at 42? And so I brought a lot of that to the surface, which meant it was back in my control and I could start to work on it.
Right. Thank you so much for watching our video. Just a quick interruption to remind you, if you are watching this on YouTube, to like and subscribe and check out all our other videos on the channel. And if you're checking out this video on our blog post, make sure you check out all the other blog posts on our website. So thank you so much, and back to the rest of the video. So I have a question, right? So if, like, say I wanna fake it during the test, that 90 seconds, or I have a very happy day for that day, does it affect the results of the test?
Well, that's what I love about this, because the answer is no. If we do other reports, like if we do a DISC report or if we do a sales IQ report, there's a level of personal bias, because I can read that question on the screen and I can answer accordingly. So if I want to make myself look different in a job interview, I can fake it. But because when we use this technology, it's measuring the brainwave frequencies, not what you say. It's measuring frequency. You can't fake it. So what we do in the voice recording, it doesn't matter what the person does in the voice recording, as long as we capture 90 seconds of voice. They could count from 1 to 100 or from 100 to 1. They could do it in Chinese. They could do it in Malay. They could do it in Arabic. What matters is not the language, it's the brainwave frequency. And so there's no bias, which makes it the most advanced technology that's been created, because you can't trick the system.
That's amazing. So once you get this report, Daniel, what happens next? Obviously now, say for example, I did it and I realize, I've got this problem. What happens next?
Well, the first thing when it comes to coaching, you've got to make the unknown known. And so we say you can't fix a problem that you don't know that you have. So first of all, it brings awareness to the problem. And once you have awareness, sometimes awareness of the problem is enough to start resolving it. So as soon as you're aware of it, you've now got control over it. There's an old saying, if you can't name it, you can't tame it. So it comes back into your conscious awareness. I don't know if you've had this experience before. You wear your favorite pair of jeans, you put them in the washing machine, you put them in the cupboard, and you don't wear them for a couple of months. You come back in, you put your jeans on, you put your hand in your pocket, and you find $100. you go, wow, I didn't know it
haven't
was
been
there.
that lucky before, but yeah, maybe $5. Yeah.
$5. Okay, you'll have to come to one of my programs. We'll teach you more. And so you put your hands in your pocket and you realize the money's there. Now, the money was always there, but you didn't know it, so you couldn't do anything with it. So this technology brings it back into your awareness. And then with a system of coaching using things like NLP or timeline therapy, you can quickly change those behavioral patterns in under 10 minutes.
So in those 10 minutes, what do I need to do? I just sit and listen, or do I need to, do some exercises, or what do I need to do?
Well, the way the mind works is there's 6 things you can do in your mind. You can create pictures, you can make sounds, you can create feelings. Of course, you can remember smells and tastes and self-talk. So what we do is we help you change the pictures inside of your mind. So through a process called NLP, we change the way that you encode those memories. So we can change the way you think about memories. Once you do that, automatically your feelings change. And so we really teach the mind how to substitute a negative thought for a positive thought. And once you do that, again, that changes the feelings. So we might use some active imagination. We might even use some processes like timeline therapy, where we remove emotions like anger or fear from past events. And when we remove that anger and fear, it disappears immediately and it never comes back. And that happens in about 8 minutes during a coaching process. So I'll give you some instructions. You'll recall an event from the past that has been holding you back. We're going to teach the mind how to rethink about that, and we'll do what's called a psychological reframe. Once we reframe the mind, then you have a new perception. You have new thoughts, then your feelings change, and then instead of procrastinating, you're taking action towards your goals.
Right. So this technology basically helps people to identify those limiting beliefs, those incidents that are stopping them from actually achieving more income, more success, improvement in their career, job promotions, etc., right? I just want to know, in your estimation, how many percent of the population is unaware that, or are unaware that they have some of these limiting beliefs, some of these things that are holding them back from, achieving more in life?
And statistically, Terence, it's 84%. It's been scientifically proven that 84% of the adult population have a feeling of unfulfilled potential. They know that they should be further ahead in life by now. They should be further ahead in their career. They should have more stability for them and their family. But they have this feeling of unfulfilled potential. For some people, they feel like the handbrake's on. Other people describe it like a glass ceiling. They go, Daniel, I've got like this glass ceiling. I can see what the next level looks like, but I just can't break through it to get there. And it's 84% of the adult population. And we've known this since the late 1980s.
Right. But only now we have the technology to quickly, within like 90 seconds, discover what is the issue that's really holding them back. And then after that, 10 minutes to start igniting a transformation.
Well, the interesting thing is we've had the technology. The technology of the mind we've known about for hundreds of years. But unfortunately, what psychologists tell us, they say it takes 50 years to get over the first 5 years of our life. And it was like me, in the middle of the pandemic, I was 40 and I'm still struggling with those things that happened in the first few years of my life. So it'll take the average person about 50 years to get over the first 5 years of their life. But thanks to the changes in technology today, thanks to AI technology, thanks to voice recognition, we can do a voice recording in 90 seconds. We can get the results back within a split second after the voice recording, and we can tell you exactly what's holding you back with science. Not guesswork, not opinion, not with tarot cards, not with voodoo. It's with science, and there's no second guessing it. And that's the technology we have today, and it's been the missing link for a lot of people. We know how the mind works. Since 1930s, we know that we can change the way we think, but people aren't aware of which thoughts they need to change. And that was the big breakthrough for me, was when I got the technology, it showed me exactly what I had to focus on. Just that one thing that I had to work on right now. Once I broke through that, then all the goodness started to happen.
Right. So, I mean, in a lot of cases, in the past, from what I know anyway, is like you have to go to therapists, you go back for months, years, and then, before they try and fix you, and you have all these shrink sessions where you're talking to the guy, and, but now you don't need that because...
No. The thing is that only 15% of your motivation comes from the past. And fully 85% comes from the future. And if you talk about how you got broken, if you go through counseling and psychology for years, it actually doesn't solve the problem. And Sigmund Freud said psychology is only for the rich, because what happens with talk therapy, you keep talking about the problem over and over and over and again, and then you become an expert on the problem, and then they give you a diagnosis, and then you say, I've got depression. But it doesn't change it. You've still got it. The beauty about this process, we change the way that you think. We have 60,000 thoughts a day. 95% are on repeat. And 80% of those repeated thoughts are negative in nature. So if you keep thinking the same thoughts, you'll keep feeling depressed and you'll keep procrastinating. But once you know exactly which thoughts that you need to work on, then as soon as you change the way that you think, you change the way you feel. And where you used to procrastinate, now you're taking massive action every day. And it happens that fast. You don't have to talk about how you're broken. You don't have to talk about those events in the past, because the mind works in a certain order and sequence. And once you reshape the thoughts, immediately you get the results. And it's under 10 minutes you can do it.
Amazing. So Daniel, here's a big question, right? I'm sure some of our listeners would want to get access to this technology, right? How do they get it, and how much does it cost? And I understand we may have a special deal for listeners today to get access to this technology.
Normally, I sell this technology for $497 along with my expert opinion, but I want to give you the opportunity to experience it for yourself for $97, which is going to save you $400.
And this is could be something that people have been struggling for years since their childhood. It could be something that uncle said accidentally, and it could be manifesting in all these different ways, which is limiting us, and we have no idea.
We carry around our emotional baggage every single day. I remember a boss saying, Daniel, leave it at the door. Don't bring it to work. Leave it at home. Well, wherever you go, there you are. And if you've got a personal pain that you've been carrying for years, maybe you've been abused physically, emotionally, sexually, spiritually. Maybe you've lost a loved one. You just can't leave that at the door. It's not physical baggage, it's emotional baggage. So for people who have had setbacks, they've had failures, they've had a lot of disappointments, it brings a lot of clarity to their life, because they say, oh, wow, that thing there, I now have to resolve. And they start to know that one thing. So it happens so fast. I'm talking like 90 seconds. You can complete your voice recording today. Our AI technology can analyze it. I can get a 13-page report on my desk within minutes, and then I can show you exactly where you're held back. You don't have to do years of therapy. You just have to spend minutes with me, and I'll tell you exactly what you need to work on, what you need to do first, what you need to do second, and what's really important, what you don't have to do at all. This is not lifetime stuff. This is happening in moments because of technology.
Well, I mean, that's a pretty crazy offer. I mean, $97. We're not just talking the report and the voice AI thing, but they're getting one-on-one time with you as well, where you're actually explaining the whole thing about it with them.
I'll take you through cover to cover. And there's so much to learn here. The first thing we're going to learn is we're going to learn about what makes you stressed. There's 5 types of different stress, and it's going to pinpoint exactly what stresses you. I'm going to show you what's called your musical note personality style. This determines how fast you start taking action, and it determines how fast you finish. And a lot of people feel conflicted because sometimes they start really fast but finish slowly. I'm going to show you how to set your goals so they're in alignment with your personality type. I'll also show you how your left and right brain is processing emotions. And what happens is people are very aware of what's happened, but in the right brain that processes the emotions, the brain's actually not functioning correctly. And so I can show you how your left and right brain is processing emotions. And if it's not balanced, then I can tell you exactly what you need to do. So that's exciting because most people, can you see your brain working? Most people can't, but the technology does. We'll show you your introversion and extroversion levels, because a lot of people, they say, Daniel, I'm an introvert. Well, what happens is with the introvert, they find it very hard to express their emotions. So people assume they're always fine. And that was like me. I was introvert 4th degree. I'd been experiencing these feelings my whole life, but I couldn't express it externally. So everybody assumed I was okay when I was not. Where other people just can't control the emotion, it's always overflowing. So I will show you how you express emotion. I'll show you your personality styles. I'll also show you your Enneagram. Your Enneagram determines your personality type, the person you are today, and it will also show you the person that you want to become in the future. And that was my big breakthrough, because I had 2 different personality styles. One was the perfectionist, and that was where the self-harm was coming from. And that was because when I was younger, I had a lot of learning disabilities, and I was always punished for making mistakes.
Right.
And what happened was I kept repeating that self-punishment 30, 40 years later, and I wasn't even aware of it. And that was the big breakthrough. So as soon as I was aware of that, and I understood what the perfectionist did when they made a mistake, immediately those behaviors stopped. And so that was 40 years of pain that I discovered in moments.
Wow.
It also showed me my winning characteristics. And I know I'm a winner. 3-time state champion athlete, Australian champion athlete. I've co-led a team of 17,000 people. I've helped 20,000 people. And I know that I'm a winner, but I didn't know how to use that personality style. So what would happen was, because I'm so competitive, people actually got turned off. And I didn't realize that I was exhibiting this personality to other people. And once I started to tame that, more customers come to me, because they didn't always feel everything was a competition. Plus my relationship at home got better. I'll show you your core emotions. No more second guessing. You'll just know exactly which ones are being activated right now. And then I'll show you how to pinpoint them throughout your entire life, and then the steps to overcome them. And that's what we're going to do together. And you'll learn more about yourself in an hour with me than you could possibly through 20, 30, or even 40 years of self-reflection. You'll know more about yourself in an hour.
That's amazing. And this is just $97. And, if you're listening to this now, I suggest you just click the button somewhere below in the show notes to get access to this. But, okay, Daniel, final question. Who should go for this report, and why should they go for this report?
Beautiful. Well, I think a lot of people were in the exact same position as me. I always felt that I should be further ahead in life. At that age, I was 41. I always felt I should be further ahead. And so this system showed me how to get to that next level. Secondly, if your goal is to get a promotion in your career, it will show you your personality type, and I'll teach you how to leverage that so you can get more promotions. And finally, if you want to create more emotional and financial stability, this system will show you how to leverage your unique talents and how to make it happen faster.
Okay. Well, Daniel, that was a fascinating session. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you guys take Daniel's offer, because there's only a few available, and, take full advantage of him, and, you get to talk one-on-one with him through the whole report. And I think that's just going to be phenomenal, because I'm going to take one myself too. So thank you, Daniel, for your time. And
Thanks, mate.
we'll see you on the next podcast.
I'll see you soon. Thank you.